Now we are going to start with the disorders of excretory system. In the disorders of excretory system, the first disorder which we are going to study is the disorder called as a uremia. What is uremia? Accumulation of urea in the blood due to the malfunctioning of the kidney. There is an excessive amount of urea in the blood. You know that 25 to 30 gram of urea is excreted out per day, and if the amount of urea is more, it may lead to kidney failure or renal failure. So you know that urea is produced in liver, but it is excreted out through the kidney. So kidney failure or a renal failure is the inability of kidney to carry out on excretory functions. The kidney is not able to carry out salt water regulatory function. You know, the main function of the kidney is to excrete out the nitrogenous waste and also to maintain the osmoregulation. So kidney failure, then the kidney is not able to do these two functions properly, that is the not able to do salt water regulatory function. Next is renal calculi. What is renal calculi? Renal calculi is the formation of stone or insoluble mass of crystallized salts. The salts may be of a calcium, magnesium, phosphates and oxalates which are formed within the kidney. That is called as a renal calculi. Okay, now these are formed by the insoluble masses of crystallized salt. Next is glomerular nephritis, which is the inflammation of glomeruli in the kidney. You know that glomerulus plays a very important role in the formation of glomerular filtrate. So there is an inflammation of glomerulus that may lead to glomerular nephritis. And one disease we have already discussed, that is the diabetes. See, diabetes mellitus is one term and diabetes insipidus is the another term. So if the amount of glucose is more, in the urine, then it is called as a diabetes mellitus. But if the amount of frequency of micturition is more, if the amount of or there is a frequent micturition, means the urine is excreted in a severely diluted form. There are several different types of diabetes insipidus. So if ADH, that is antidiuretic hormone, is there, you know that vasopressin is there. So if there is deficiency of vasopressin, a hormone in the body, then it may lead to diabetes insipidus. Okay, so diabetes mellitus is due to the deficiency of hormone insulin. But if there is deficiency of vasopressin, then it leads to diabetes insipidus. In the case of diabetes mellitus, the more amount of glucose comes in the urine. But in the case of diabetes insipidus, there is the frequency of passing out of urine increases and the urine is severely diluted. Okay, now what is the hemodialysis? You can see that what is hemodialysis? It is the process of removing of urea in the patient artificially with the help of artificial kidney, which is called as a dialyzing unit, and this process is called as hemodialysis. Okay, So it works on the principle of dialysis. That is what? That there is a cellophane tube which is considered as a semi-permeable membrane through which small solute molecules will diffuse. So blood of the patient is pumped from one of the artery you can see in a show which is shown in a red color. So blood of the patient is pumped from one of the artery into a dialyzer, hemodialyzer, and there it is mixed with the heparin, which is a anticoagulant. So the pores of cellophane tube, what is its main function? It allows the passage of small molecules and it absorbs, it takes the nitrogenous waste like urea, uric acid, excess salt, excess H ions. So it takes these things from the blood, and now the blood is cleared from the nitrogenous waste. Fine. So the blood which is free from nitrogenous waste is then warmed and then introduced into the patient's blood, after making it isotonic. Okay. So dialyzing unit, artificial kidney, contain a coiled cellophane tube surrounded by a dialyzing fluid, and that fluid has the same composition of plasma, only it does not contains nitrogenous waste. That is why it takes the nitrogenous waste from the patient's blood. Now blood is taken from the artery and it is pumped into dialyzing unit after adding anticoagulant like heparin. Now the porous cellophane membrane of tubes, they allow the passage of molecules based on a concentration gradient, and nitrogenous waste moves from higher concentration to the lower concentration. Higher concentration is in the blood and lower concentration is in the cellophane tube. So it moves from higher concentration to lower concentration, thus clearing the blood from the nitrogenous waste, and it is pumped back to the body after adding anti-heparin to it. So you can see the figure that when the kidney is transplanted, or you can say if dialysis is not done, then the kidneys are not working properly, then the donor can give the kidney. Okay, so in this there is an acute renal failure and a functioning kidney is taken from the donor, which is better to receive kidney from a close relative so as to minimize the chances of rejection of immune system of the host. If there is rejection, then the kidney will not be able to work properly in the patient. So that is why it is recommended to take the kidney from the close relative so as to minimize the rejection by immune system.